Welcome guys to a $10 patron, $10 plus patron exclusive video. And I'm out having a fantastic, well, I guess it's afternoon at the moment. And what I'm doing at the moment is I'm exploring. You know, something about California, San Diego, is the weather is so incredible that you can just ride every day of the year. So I'm currently out, well, I've been riding for about an hour. I don't even know where the hell I am. I don't know what this area is, but you know, I just love following my nose and seeing where it takes me, and it's the whole exploration and finding out a new place. Anyway, I failed my driver's test, my California driver's test. So why am I riding a bike then if I failed my test? Well, I actually did pass it, but I failed it the first time, and I wanted to tell you guys all how that happened and what the deal was. And it was quite ridiculous, and it just goes to show that it's all about luck really at the end of the day. I also have to explain to you guys why it is that I need an American driver's license, because you know, obviously I do have a valid Chinese license, and I have a license in South Africa too, so why would I have to go through all the trouble of getting another one? Well, let's see. You know, the thing is, let's start out with the whole Chinese driver's license. What Seamilk and I are doing and planning on doing, as you know, is starting this company and then traveling around the world to various different countries to explore. And let me pull over so I can go a bit slower. So we're going to be exploring, and I really like it out here anyway. Sorry. And we're going to be exploring on bikes, obviously. That's the idea. So we need to have a license that we can use. Now, the thing about a Chinese driver's license is that the name on the Chinese driver's license is a Chinese-only name. So when you get your driver's license in China, what you have to do is you have to get an official Chinese name. So your name gets translated into Chinese, and then that's what appears on your Chinese driver's license. There's no English name. So there's no way to correspond my Chinese driver's license with my passport. And so this causes an issue if I want to try and get an international driver's permit, which is impossible for me because I'm not Chinese. You know, if you're Chinese and you have a Chinese driver's license, there are actually quite a few countries, including America, that you can drive or ride. If you have your Chinese driver's license, it needs to be officially translated into English, but you can use it. There are plenty of countries that accept it. Unlike, of course, China, where it doesn't matter what your license is, or even if you have an international driver's permit, they forbid you to drive or ride in China. You have to get a Chinese driver's license, which is why I have one. My South African license as well has expired, because they expire every 5 years, which is actually really annoying. And trust me, the red tape. I'd have to fly back to South Africa and then probably spend a week trying to go in and out of the government offices there just to try and, you know, get that bloody thing going. Oh, you know what? I smell In-N-Out, and I'm going to go to In-N-Out because that's one of the best things about living on the West Coast. Anyway, so we decided, of course, since we're establishing a business here and stuff, that the best course of action would be for me to get an American driver's license, because an American driver's license is kind of like a golden ticket. Once you've got that, you have access to, well, the world, basically, and you can take that license and go to almost any country barring China and North Korea, I think. And as long as you have your IDP or international driver's permit, oh cool, I'm here. I'll just park right here. As long as you have your IDP, you will be able to drive or ride in said country. And that's what we need, because all the countries we plan to go to, whether it be Vietnam, Korea, Japan, all these places, they accept American driver's licenses with an IDP. Anyway, I'm gonna go grab a burger, and then I will continue this when I come out. Look at it. Yeah, let me show you how it sounds. It's yeah, it's got a very nice sound. Let's see. Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Alright man, ride safe out there.
Thank you. You have a fantastic day.
Hey, thank you.
Cheers. So, In-N-Out Burger is awesome. Double protein style, that's my go-to. And no, it's not a paid advert, but you know, I love it. People are friendly. You know, like that dude who was interested in the bike, he was talking to me inside, and fantastic service, and I can't say anything but good things about In-N-Out Burger. I'm starting to sound a bit ridiculous here. I'm going to stop talking about the burger. I'm going to get back to the whole the topic at hand, which is the whole driver's license thing. So anyway, first of all, it is not easy at all for a foreigner to get a driver's license here in America. You can't actually. You can't just as a foreigner get one. You need residency, and you need a social security number, and you need all sorts of stuff like that. But it's a long process, and I've been trying to get everything in order now for more than a year, and let's just say that I managed to get enough ducks in a row that I was allowed to go and take my test to get my provisional. And that you know, it's like the written test that you do, and that's actually very easy. That truck's probably going straight. Okay. So that was very easy. I must say the written test here in America, at least in California, is incredibly easy. Took me about a night of studying and looking at sample tests and stuff, and I went in and I passed it. Now, for the motorcycle test, if you do, there's like a California safety, like motorcycle safety course. If you do that, then you're exempt from doing the actual physical riding test at the DMV, which is pretty cool. So I basically did with C-Milk, because we both had to do it here. We did that California safety test thing, and it wasn't bad. I kind of enjoyed it. We had to spend a couple days out on the range, you know, doing all these exercises, and it was kind of silly because, you know, it's for first timers, so they were teaching us how to use a clutch and stuff. But you know, the instructors were awesome. I really enjoyed it. It was nice to meet other people. So all in all, it was a positive experience. Anyway, I digress. I don't even know where I'm going. I guess I'm just gonna go straight. I don't know this area at all, but I love it. And In-N-Out Burger, man, you can just smell it. You know it's there. Anyway, sorry, I'll shut up about In-N-Out now. Anyway, so like I was saying, we did this test. I went to the DMV. You know, it was a long wait and all that kind of nonsense, and it was difficult for me to get all the paperwork I needed. And it's, like I said, I had to do stuff like open a bank account, to get letters sent to the Airbnb that I was staying at to prove that I have residency, and all sorts of crap. There was yeah, I will eventually tell the whole story, because like I said, this has been in the works for a long time and there's been a lot of prep. Anyway, so only you guys are $10 plus patrons get to know all these details for now anyway, so please don't go around spreading them if you don't mind. So wow, that does look like a dead end down there, but I'll go anyway. So I got the provisional, no problem. But you know, there's a huge waiting list to do the behind the wheel test, and to get a driver's license in you know, in California, you need to obviously pass. If you're like me, I don't have an American license, you need to pass the behind the wheel test. Well, it's fair enough, but the waiting list was like a month. So anyway, I booked a time that was kind of you know, the closest that was possible, and the day finally came for me to go and take my test. And I didn't have a car because my Corvette doesn't have California plates. It's got Arizona plates, you know, because that's where I store the thing. Something that I will rectify in the future, obviously, when I come back here. But so I didn't have a car, and of course C-Milk doesn't have a car here because his car is back in New York. So you need to have a California car to take the test. So what I did was I kind of reached out to a couple of subscribers that I'm kind of close with over here, friends of mine, And this one older gent, he was very generous, and he said, all right, yeah, sure, I've got a car you can use. And I thought, wow, that's really nice, thank you so much. Anyway, it turns out it's a really fancy Mercedes-Benz SUV, like AMG, you know, top of the line SUV, like brand new. And so I was flattered, and it's really nice, but to be honest, that's why I failed. Now, when I got to do my test, when I went in and took the actual test, the instructor took one look at me, and immediately I could tell she hated me. She was, you know, this is California, I'm not going to beat around the bush. She was not someone who likes men. You know, you could tell by the way she behaved and the way she looked and the sort of, you know, hairstyle and all that stuff. You could tell that she's men are not her favorite thing in the world. So she saw this this white guy in a suit driving a fancy expensive car, and I could tell straight away that she wanted nothing to do with me passing this test. But I still, you know, I had faith. I thought, you know what, like American people, at least as far as I've met so far, they're all very professional and they all take their job seriously, and you know, she'll give me professional courtesy, so it shouldn't be an issue. So we started the test and it went very well, and I was kind of happy. I thought I'd done a very good job because I'd made no mistakes, and you know, I did all that ridiculous looking around, moving your head like a you know, I don't know what, like a Bollywood dancer. And we get to the end. She sits there and she starts scribbling in her notepad, and she's like, you were stopping too close to the cars. And I was like, okay, I apologize for that. And she basically wrote down that and to be fair, I am going to accept fault for this. I was under the impression that when you stop behind a car, you had to still see the whole bumper of the car, but apparently here in California you have to see the tires as well, and I wasn't aware of that, so that is my fault, and I did make that mistake. Unfortunately, because, you know, I stopped behind cars a lot during the test, because that's what you do when you come up to stop streets and stuff. I did the mistake a lot. It was consistent, obviously, and if she was, I'll be honest, if she was a nice person, she would have been able to see, hey look, he made the one mistake, but it was consistent, and just tell him to not do that, you know, and it'll be fine. Because I wasn't driving unsafe, and of course it was, I stopped the same every time to show the whole bumper of the car. Anyway, she counted it up and failed me by I think 1 point over, you know, the minimum. And she's like, all right, sorry, you know, you fail, and got out. Didn't really talk at all. And of course I was incredibly disappointed, and it was you know, because you have to wait so long for these appointments, and I could tell, and it's just one of those things, you know, I could tell that she got a huge amount of gratification for failing me. I could just see it in her demeanor, that she was just incredibly happy that she managed to fail this guy in a suit driving a very expensive Mercedes-Benz. So anyway, long story short, yesterday I passed, because it took another about a month for me to get another appointment. Now obviously I've been back to China and back again during that time, and so now I was going to write it again, and now I'm concerned, obviously, that, you know, I'm going to make a stupid mistake again. This time I got another subscriber, someone I met at the subscriber meetup the other day, Focus Barbecue. He offered to help me, because you do need a licensed, you know, a California licensed driver to be with you in order to take the test. So he generously offered, and of course I was incredibly happy. It's so nice out here. So we went through, and I did it in like a crappy car. I'm not going to mention which one, but it was a crappy one. It'll come out later. And this time I got a very pleasant, very nice guy. The instructor sat down and had a nice chat with me, and he was very mellow and just such a nice guy, and told me what to do, and we went around the block. And you know what, at the end he said, you passed 100%, you're a very good driver, and bam, I passed. And of course the only difference was that this time I did stop showing the tires, but I didn't change anything otherwise. And it just goes to show it's luck of the draw. And you know how I always say that first impressions last, right? Sometimes you can give off the wrong impression, especially here. It's not like China. In China, if you drive a fancy car, people look at you and give you respect because you obviously have money. But I can tell, at least with certain people here in America, if you turn up in a fancy car, they'll give you resentment, not respect. Which I can understand. But it was just a very unfortunate situation, and that's the story of how I failed my California driver's license and then passed. And that's why I can now legally, whoops, what are you doing, boy? I can now legally ride around this incredibly beautiful city, and I'm looking forward to many more miles in between, of course, going to different countries, because now that I have this California license, I will be able to get the IDP, and everything that C-Milk and I do in the future won't be a hassle. Because man, oh man, has it been a bloody hassle. And also why, for instance, when I went to Japan last time, I didn't do any bike riding. I just traveled around, you know, the usual way on the trains and stuff, because I couldn't use my Chinese license there. Anyway guys, thank you for sticking through this very long one. I know it's kind of a special extended format, but I thought I'd make use of this this wonderful sort of afternoon that I'm having here riding around, and just kind of fill you guys in. So thank you so much for your support. Since the last $10 patron thing, I am not feeling as melancholy as before. I've been talking to Sasha every day, obviously, on the video phone, and been planning our future. And like I said, I'll be back in China fairly soon, a couple more weeks now, and then we're gonna hit Vietnam. So yeah, can't bloody wait. Thanks for watching, guys. Thank you for your support, honestly. And while we're at it, I do need to touch on one little thing. I know that some of you guys are upset with Patreon, because of patrons been blocking some creators and stuff, but I hope you realize that I do not agree with Patreon in any way, shape or form. But I have to be honest with you, if it wasn't for Patreon and you guys supporting me here, whether you like the company or not, I wouldn't be able to be where I am today. So I hope you can take that into consideration, and remember that it's you guys, you know, are the important people, and it's you guys that I want to reach. And it's kind of like roads, you know. Just because you get other crappy people on the roads, or you get potholes on the roads, it doesn't mean that you can't use the road in order to get where you're going, if you know what I mean. Bit of a weird analogy. But I just really wanted to say, guys, thank you so much. Honestly, thank you so much. And this is the best way I can reach all of you guys personally, like this. And I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next video. So guys, have a stellar weekend, every single one of you, and I can't wait to see you next week. Cheers, and stay awesome.